Bills fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this is likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years.
Shut up, the Bills! It's not outside! It's not outside! Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Told me now listen, everyone play their position. Buffalo got a tradition. They say we trippin', they better get out our way. Top of the table, we flippin', we on a mission. Got an unstoppable team, continue to follow your dream by any means. Buffalo, get in the Super Bowl ring. Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Mafia up in your city, time to get gritty. Screaming and yelling, we bugging. Look at the red and blue.
This is an MVP year for Josh Allen. As an MVP voter, I said this last week. Josh Allen, he looks like an MVP. When you vote for MVP, and I can speak for myself, I think I'm one of 50 voters, you look at a couple things. Who's the best team in football? Who's the best player on that team in football? What do they look like as the best player on that team in football? And how much talent is around that best player on that best team in football?
Cause we done Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we done Buffalo.
Oh, probably would help if I was on the stage, right? Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Coast to Coast. I'm your host, Little 2K. We're going to be talking a little bit today about the draft that just took place last Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. For Bills, it really was just you got to count Thursday. A lot of moves made. Certainly not the direction I thought we were going to go in, but we're going to talk a little bit about it. And, I'll react to what my thought process was going into the draft. Actually, I don't need to do that. I kind of do that all the time. But just going to talk a little bit about what moves we made and overall what this means going forward. I do think that there are some other things that Beane needs to do in order to get this roster ready for week one. But I am overall looking at this draft, and I'm satisfied. I believe Beane will be joining us very, very soon. Yeah. But in the meantime, in between time, hope everybody's doing well. And let's get right into it, man. So the Buffalo Bills walked into the NFL draft last Wednesday with a total of 6 draft selections. They had a first-round pick. They had a third-round pick. They had a fourth-round pick. They had 2 fifths, 2 sixes. Or they had no fifths. They had 2 sixes and 2 sevens, something like that. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so a 7th round or a 6th round pick, whatever. But at the end of the day, they had like 6. They had like 6 picks, not a lot. What Brandon Beane did was he made a couple of deals. He traded back from 26, which was our first round pick, traded back to 28, traded back again from 28 to 31, And then from 31, we went down to 35. So the third pick in the second round. Via those trade backs, he was able to get another third round pick. He was able to, obviously, he got the second at 35, but he was able to get another third round pick. He was able to get a couple of fourths, extra fourth. I think we had 2 extra fourths, extra fifth, an extra seventh, and yeah, man, like he made some moves and got guys exactly where they needed to be as far as the draft board is concerned. So let's get right into it. First pick, T.J. Parker. Certainly not where I thought we were going to go. I expected that selection at 35 to be a defensive tackle. I was looking at Caden McDonald or the linebacker position, whether that was C.J. Allen. My preference was Jacob Rodriguez. C.J. Allen was cool. If they got C.J. Allen, that would have been fine. Wasn't as high on Trotter or Anthony Hill Jr. as some other people, but any of those guys I thought made a lot of sense because those are guys that could come in and they start immediately next to Terrell Bernard. Well, Brandon Beane wasn't going in that direction at all. Brandon Beane went in there and he drafted the defensive end T.J. Parker out of Clemson. Now, Clemson had a down year last year, 100%. T.J. Parker and the rest of those guys did not have the year that everybody expected Clemson to have. But a lot of those guys got drafted anyway. T.J. Parker, I believe he had over 150 pressures a year ago in college. I think he had 11 or 12 sacks, something like that. So, I mean, we're talking about a guy with production, right? A guy that measures out to what the Bills kind of want at edge. And at this point now, there is no, it's a big thing all these years about, well, is it Brandon Beane or is it Sean McDermott? Which guy is making these draft picks? Well, it's all on Beane. This year, there's no McDermott influence. It's all on Beane. So the bottom line was whatever Beane did, it's going to fall on him. And clearly, he has a type at defensive end. Big, long arm guys that are good edge setters against the run and are power rushers. So I believe that Beane likes to get edges that can collapse the pocket. They talked about this when it came to Lamar Jackson. You saw when I think it was Levante David or somebody, a linebacker or whatever, was on one of those shows. I think it was the Speakeasy with Acho, and they were talking about can't defend Josh. Like, it's tough to defend Josh, but Lamar's pretty easy. You just put 5 guys in there, you force him to stay in the pocket. He can't beat you from there. Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do that against Mahomes. We're trying to do that against Burrow. Put 5 guys, collapse the pocket around them, make those guys make throws against what I feel like is an elite coverage unit in the back 7. So we or back 6 if you bring it 5, right? Basic math, 11. So what does that mean for T.J. Parker? Well, T.J. Parker does walk into a unit that already has a defensive line that already has its starters at outside linebacker. We already have Rousseau, who's moving to outside, who moved to outside linebacker. We already have Bradley Chubb, who's a very productive player when he's not injured. We have our guys. I don't see where T.J. Parker supplants either one of those guys. But what he does do is he gives us a really, really talented upside guy as a depth piece to kind of hold it down until Michael Hoyt is ready to go. And then at that point, him and Hoyt will take those snaps on the edge as outside linebackers to help with the pass rush, also drop back in coverage, provide some defense against running backs, tight ends, and I'm sure they'll drop into some hook zones, some curl flats, some and take the running backs out of the flats and things like that. So little QB spy action, if you will, for those quarterbacks that like to run around like Bo Nix. So we do have guys that we do have a pretty filled out group at outside linebacker. and TJ Parker, who's potentially a double-digit sack talent. It doesn't hurt the unit; it just makes the unit better, right? If God forbid Bradley Chubb gets another injury, he's been injured most of it, a good amount of his career. I'm not going to say most, but a good amount of his career he's been injured. If that were to happen, TJ Parker's a quality guy to bring off the bench and toss him in the lineup. He does some things that I really, really love. Kind of like Rousseau. When Rousseau's given an opportunity to pass rush, you see him use that long arm to hold off, to keep tackles from getting in his body and keeping him at bay. Use that long arm to kind of direct where the play is going to go, and then he adjusts based on what's happening in front of him, right? Whether the quarterback's trying to step up in the pocket, he knows he needs to counter inside, right? Or if the quarterback's trying to escape around the edge, well, got that long arm out there, seal the edge, force that quarterback back into the teeth of the defense. Those are the things that TJ Parker does. TJ Parker is also a very good pass rusher, a very good power rusher. Physical, can turn speed to power very, very quickly. Not the bendiest. Definitely not, the strongest, but has enough punch in his hands to get tackles off balance, get inside, make a play. He's got enough strength to set the edge against the run. He's a very good run defender as well. So clearly Beane has a type. That's the direction he went at pick 35. Not what I would have done, but I understand, because over the years, if you lose Rousseau, you lose Von Miller. We lost Von Miller and in 22, if you guys remember, and the pass rush went from a top, 7 or 8 unit in the league to like bottom third, bottom quarter, the bottom quarter of the league as far as like pass rush win rate, amount of pressure that we were getting. It was just terrible. Defense kind of fell off the cliff. So he attacks that. After that, we had a couple of third-round picks. And that was cool. Or no, I think we only had one third-round pick, but I think we had like 4 fourth-round picks or something, or 3 fourth-round picks. So Beane uses the third-round pick, which was, I think, the second pick in the third round, and then like one of the fourth-round picks, and moves up into the bottom of the second to take a corner. And I'm telling you, by the time training camp starts, I am going to have this kid's last name down pat. Davison Igbinosun. I think I got it. Look at me. All right, look at that. David Igbinosun, cornerback out of Ohio State. Let me pull up his. Actually, I have his PFF already up. Oh, I got it on my phone now. Give me 1 second. Cornerback out of Ohio State, 6'2", 195 pounds. Believe he ran like a 4.47, somewhere around there on his pro day. This is a big physical corner in the mold of a Christian Benford, but more. I think there's a little more juice. Obviously, a little more juice. It's a little faster, slightly bigger. Benford's like 6'1". This guy's, a little taller than him. It's a little bit bigger, a little more, a physical guy. Will come downhill and tackle in the run. His PFF grades for run defense were pretty good, as well as his coverage, even though I know we don't use PFF a lot, guys. I know. But let's just keep it, please. Just keep it moving. Like, yeah, dog. Hold on, let me. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't get to this. What's good, everybody? Shout out. My name is Kelsey. Yeah, what's up, Kelsey? Yeah, Javon Solomon. Yeah, we're gonna get to that, brother. Yeah, 3/4. Carlos, what's going on, bro? He's a trash talker. IGB, he's a trash talker. Yo, all right. So, at first, I'm gonna be honest. Let me not even just say it first. Trading back up into the second round, burning a 4th round pick to get this player, I didn't think was necessary. You could have waited to the top of the third. I think he still would have been there. If not, I think they were comparable players. Maybe they don't give you everything he gives you from a physical standpoint, but I think from the coverage, like I don't really care what the coverage grade says on PFF. I watched this kid. I watched this kid be very, very grabby, very, very physical, and I don't know. My issue. You guys know, if you guys been listening to this pod, if you're watching this pod, or if you know me from like X, you know how I feel about Dane Jackson. And you know why I feel how I feel about Dane Jackson. Dane Jackson is just not a corner that I ever want to see in a Bills uniform again. No disrespect. Like, he made it someplace that I couldn't, right? He made it to the NFL. He got a nice contract from Carolina. I hope he's good. Like, him and his family, that's life-changing money. Congratulations, brother. I don't want to see him in a Buffalo Bills uniform again. He doesn't turn to look for the football. When he's in coverage, Dane Jackson does not turn and look for the football. He plays the receiver. Quarterbacks know that. They're going to throw the ball behind him, and he's going to get flagged. That's as that's as sure as like the sun rising. Dane Jackson getting a penalty from not playing the football. I remember playing the Chiefs. I want to say it was 2023. It might have been 2023 or 20. Yeah, it was 2023. He's covering MVS. MVS is going down the field. MVS turns to look for the football. He's not looking for the football. Dane's not looking for the football. The ball hits him in the back. Hit him in the back. If he turns and looks for the football, that's an interception. On I think that might have been the first drive. I would have to pull it up. I'm just not doing that today. But yeah, you remember, right, dog? Come on, bro. Like, I think I harped on that for like a month. I probably harped on that for like a month. But clearly Beane saw something in the depth at the cornerback position and said, we got to fix that, right? So what does he do? He goes and gets a guy that kind of resembles a physical archetype that we already have that works. And clearly it's in line with the defensive strategy. If you've been watching the Denver Broncos over the last couple of years have been very good. Our new defensive coordinator, Jim Leonard, was a coach on that staff. They bring the pressure. They bring the pressure from the edge guys, from the outside linebackers. They also blitz a fair amount. They utilize stunts, a lot of things to. When I say stunts, they use stunts on the defensive line. Sometimes with the outside backers. Sometimes it's just with the interior guys, the four and the fours. The 4 and the 0, the 4s and the 0. Like they just do a lot of things up front to really confuse the quarterback and the offensive line. So they're trying to create chaos up front in order to get a free guy at the quarterback. And a lot of times it works because they led the NFL in sacks. I want to say 2 years ago. I think it was like the year we played them in the playoffs and blew the doors off them. They led the NFL in sacks. So I imagine because it was successful in Denver, I imagine that Jim Leonard is going to bring some similar concepts to Buffalo. With that being said, you need guys that are athletic enough and able enough to do it up front. And that's what he went out and got. TJ Parker's one, but on the back end, the coverage side, because you know you're bringing pressure, you want those press physical man corners up front that can disrupt the route timing, that forces the quarterback to hold that football. Sometimes you just need a fraction of a second. And that's the difference between a completion or a sack or a strip fumble or a tip pass or an interception. That split second could mean the difference. And if you're a Bills fan, you understand how seconds matter in these big games, right? But I don't give credit. I don't give him credit though because he seen the depth and fixed it. He drafted a hurt QB that became more hurt during the season. Well, that was last year, and I don't think that I don't think that he drafted. I don't think that that was a depth move. I think last year, and I appreciate the comment, Albert. Last year there was something that we definitely needed, which was we need to get younger, right? Because Trey White was old, and Russell Douglas was getting up there in age too. We need to get faster and more athletic. I know you guys remember Kyer Elam trying to cover Xavier Worthy in the playoffs. Like, I mean, that was embarrassing, man. Like, the dude is falling all over himself. Like, he can't stay on his feet, can't keep up with him, just getting beat down the field. Like, so we had to get a guy that did that. Now, Albert, I'll tell you this, and these guys that know me, they'll tell you, I wasn't a Maxwell Hairston guy. If it was me, we would have taken Trey Amos. I like bigger corners who win more with their brain. Not necessarily a guy that can't win. I'm not saying that, well, I feel like I can't. Can y'all hear me? I feel like something just happened. I don't know. Yeah, let me know if y'all hear me, man. Is this thing? Yeah, it's on. All right. I just think we needed to get faster. We needed to get younger. We did that last year, but it wasn't enough. Clearly, it wasn't enough, right? Because what is that? Clearly, it wasn't enough because on 3rd and 8, I think it was 3rd and 8, against Denver on the pivotal drive to kind of seal a trip to the AFC Championship game. We put Dane Jackson in because Trey White had to sit out for a play, and Dane got smoked. He got smoked and gave him a touchdown. So clearly, Brandon Beane, and this is something. Listen, see the shirt, y'all, and Beane we trust. I got to give him credit, man. He sees an issue and he does attack it the following off season. So the secondary was a problem. Dane Jackson came into the game, got destroyed. Who was the guy that Darnell Savage. Darnell Savage came into the game, got destroyed. What do? Off season. CJ Gardner-Johnson, safety. Geno Stone, safety. Exactly. Smoke got cooked, smoked like a pack of Newports. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Smoked like a pack of the 100s too, the long joints. Not even the short ones. The long joints got smoked. It was terrible. It's terrible. So Beane saw that and he said to himself, listen, we can't go into another year like that. And when they had their pressure a few weeks ago, after obviously getting CJ Gardner-Johnson, having the Bradley Chubb, all those guys, what'd he say? He said, bro, we can roll the football out right now and win a football game against most teams. And he's right. Like you add CJ Gardner-Johnson and Geno Stone, you got Bishop, you got Hairston, you got Alford at the slot, you got Benford, you got Bernard, you got Dorian Williams, you got Chubb, Rousseau, Ed, TJ, and Deion up front. That defense is ready to go. I mean, we ain't even gonna talk about the offense. Like, come on. This is a top 5 offense without DJ Moore. It's got DJ Moore now. So, like, we don't even need to talk about that. Like, we're good. We scored 30 on anybody. As long as Josh is playing like Josh Allen and not sugar high Josh, we putting up 30 on just about anybody. But I will say we needed to, we talked about this before the draft. It's a new defense, it's a new scheme. We need to get younger. We need to get better in the depth department, right? Like the second string guys, they got to be good. They got to get better because we can't keep running out Jordan Phillips and AJ Klein and Dane Jackson. We can't keep relying on those guys to give us big snaps and big moments in the playoffs. Like we can't keep doing that. So Beane clearly saw that and said, I'm going to address it. So all those trade backs, you bring in TJ Parker, that is a quality addition to the defensive line room. Just in case something happens to somebody, you got a guy that can come in and give you, high level play at that position. Defensive in the secondary, right? Bless you, sweetheart. In the secondary, what we got going on in the secondary? We needed corners. They went out and got one. They went out and got Davison Igbinosun, who's also from Jersey. So tip the cap to that. The last time we had a Jersey corner, Rasul Douglas, he played well for us. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we like that over here. I know I'm from Jersey. Well, Beane's from Jersey too, but he lives in California, so I'm still in Jersey. But anyway, got another Jersey corner. I'm excited. Not the pick that I would have made, and definitely not trading up to get him. But I feel like that was the smart move. You needed to address the depth. He did that. I probably would have went in a different direction. I liked Malik Muhammad out of Texas. I liked Dalen Everett from Georgia. I would have taken the kid from Oregon, Jaden Kennedy. One of those two. It's like Kennedy or something like that. It's like Canada with a Y at the end. Whatever. He'll to play for us. So, and I'm actually kind of sick because I think he went to the Chiefs. Yeah, he did go to the Chiefs. So, they got a quality kid right there. But we're getting off track. We're getting off track a little bit. But yeah, we definitely addressed that spot. The next selection was in the 4th round. So we waited the entire 3rd and got a guy in the 4th, Jude Bowery, excuse me, a Boston College offensive lineman. No clue who this kid was until we drafted him. I'm not even gonna lie. I did not look into this guy at all. Still haven't watched his film. Probably will get into some of it tomorrow. Just, I don't know. Like at that particular spot, I would have probably gone in a different direction. I probably would have went in the direction of linebacker or something like that. Maybe even receiver. But we went there. I trust this organization to draft well on the offensive line. We've done a very good job of that over the last, 4 or 5 years. The last 4 years. Spencer Brown was a very good draft pick. I'll give him that. The Bears GM said that they jumped Buffalo for Muhammad. Yeah. I liked Muhammad a lot, bro. I would have preferred Muhammad over Igbinosun, but Igbinosun is more physical. So I can see a situation where, like I was saying in the space earlier, if we're in the lower red zone, which is like inside the 10-yard, the 10 and in, 10-yard line and in, I'm cool with taking Max off the field. I'm cool with taking Max off the field and putting Igbinosun in there. I'm cool with that. If teams want to go 2 tight ends and still throw the football, like say for instance you're playing against the you're playing against the Ravens and you want to cover Bateman, you want to cover Zay Flowers, but you also don't want to give up. You don't also want to make sure you got somebody that's capable of covering Mark Andrews and not allowing Mark Andrews to kill you. Now you have a guy, right? You can move Benford in and stick this kid on the outside, or whatever, however you want to do it. You got a guy that can do that now. So I'm cool with that. Like I'm actually okay with that move. Like I said, I didn't know too much about the tackle we drafted. I'm hearing he can slide in the guard. I will get into the film. I will do a little video tomorrow. I will release it, and hopefully you guys see it and make sure. Like when y'all see this stuff that we put out, like please at least just comment. Like if you think it sucks, just be like, "Yo, your video sucks, dog." Like whatever it is, man. Like just comment. Just give us a little interaction so we know where to kind of step it up and tone it back a little bit, whatever. But after the tackle, that is when the draft really kind of took off, I think. Yeah, they think he's going to move inside. All right. Later in the fourth round, they take Skylar Bell, wide receiver out of UConn. He had 100 receptions, over 100 receptions this past year with UConn. And a lot of Bills fans are like really, really, really in love with Skylar Bell. Not so much. Me, not so much. I'm not saying he's not good. I just think Skylar Bell's a slot guy. I think if you're gonna play him in the slot, he's gonna be a heck of a receiver for you. The games that I watched him play in, let me pull him up. Let me go. Give me 1 second. Hold on. There it is. All right. Skylar Bell. There we go. So I watched from Skylar Bell his game against Boston College, his game against Duke. I mean, he destroyed Syracuse, but like those other games. So Duke is the game that I probably took the most from because Duke had a slot corner in Chandler Rivers that got drafted. Like he got drafted. He got drafted this past draft. Just Duke is just a better football program than the other schools. So I looked at that game, and even the Boston College game, like he had some issues getting off of like press coverage on the boundary. And for me, that's where my problem lies. It's not that he's not a good player. The numbers look great, but like Albert's saying in here, he loves Scott, but hate what he represents. Over 60% screenplays in college. And I know we wanted him for bubble screens. I don't think so. I don't think that they're going to spam him with screens. I just think that they see him as a guy who, when you get him in space, he knows how to get open. Like he can get open if he gets a release. I thought his release package was a little limited. I didn't like that he didn't have a variety of ways to get off the line. I also don't like his physical. I don't like his lack of physicality at the catch point. Yes, he does. Like if you go and watch his highlights and you look at the numbers, you're gonna think, Jesus, man, we got us a steal in the fourth round. He fell to the fourth for a reason. And I think that's because teams view him as a slot guy who got a lot of yak and was spammed. I think the offense was built around him and they spammed him last year. So he's not going to see that type of target share in Buffalo. He's not going to the offense is not going to be designed to just kind of free him up. So he's going to have to do some of that work on his own. And I have my doubts in his ability to win on the boundary consistently. Preferably, my selection would have been a Brennan Thompson because Brendan Thompson's so fast that I just think you just won't dare press him. Like, he's too fast. If you press him and you miss, it's probably a touchdown. Plus, like, let's keep it a buck. I think Brendan Thompson is going to be like a 99 speed in Madden, and I wanted that player on my team. So, whatever. Like, but Skylar Bell's fast enough. I just don't know that he's going to get off the line. But yeah, having Brendan Thompson on the team would have been dope, especially playing Madden next year. That would have been really, really, really awesome. The other receiver that I really, really, really wanted was Antonio Williams. I know a lot of y'all were like big on KC Concepcion, and KC's cool, but I just don't see the point. I don't see the need in utilizing a first round pick on a wide receiver, especially when we didn't have a second, because we used the second on a wide receiver. So, and I know how many holes we had. I actually preferred this path that Beane took. I just would have took Antonio Williams. He ends up with Washington, and we'll talk about the Bills' roster post draft and where it stacks up against the rest of the league next week. But the guy that I wanted, really, 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 really diverse release package, can get off the line really, really easily. Chris Bell's another one. Yeah, Chris Bell's another one. Chris Bell's not a guy that Chris Bell's another one I liked. With Chris Bell, it's like you can't really press him because he's like 6'2", 220, and he runs like a 4.4. So like that, like you can't press guys like that. It reminds me of AJ Brown. Not taking him when he slides to the third round, I agree. I think that's malpractice. Like, that's kind of where I would have got my receiver. Like I said, I'm just not trading up into the second to pick a corner. I would have just stuck with my third round pick and probably taken Chris Bell right there, since the linebackers had already come off. Then you have 3/4. You use one of those fourths in the fifth to move into the back of the third, and maybe you get a guy that you like in the back of the third, and you have the other 2 fourth-round picks. That would have worked for me. But maybe they looked at Chris Bell and said, we just don't trust that he's going to be ready, and we need guys that can, he's coming off of a major injury. I think he tore his ACL or something like that. So he's coming off of an ACL. And again, Albert, thank you for the comment. I just, like, Chris Bell's cool. Again, he reminds me of AJ Brown. Not really a great route runner, but physical at the catch point, extremely difficult to tackle, and he just kind of, like, if you don't get him immediately, he kind of just runs away from you. Like, and yeah, he just kind of runs away from you, and there's really nothing you could do about it. Kid is, I think he's going to be very good. Just wish it was for Buffalo, but we end up taking Skylar Bell. I hope Skylar Bell does perform well. I was supposed to be giving y'all letter grades on these too. All right, so let me stop here and go right back to it. TJ Parker. I'm gonna give that. I'm gonna give you all letter grades. The TJ Parker pick for me, it's a B plus. Like, it's a B plus. Yeah, CJ Allen did go. Yeah, I know. And that's why I said at 35, like, I probably would have went linebacker. I think TJ Parker's a good player, but just, like I said, I would have preferred something different. That's just me. But I'll give it a B plus, because I do think he's a good player. Obviously, he's not going to come in and start, but he is going to come in and contribute. So I'm also going to give a few more points. It's really a B plus because we kept him away from the Chiefs. I know the Chiefs were a little high on him, and I just didn't want to see Like they can't have Karlaftis, Chris Jones, Peter Woods, and then get T.J. Parker in the second round. Like no. Pick somebody else. Pick our Mason Thomas, who stinks against the run, and we'll put 2 tackles on the field. And I mean we'll put an extra tackle, put an extra lineman on the field and run that and we'll run it our Mason Thomas against the Chiefs. That's what we'll do. But yeah, I was fine with the pick. Again, not my top choice, but we'll roll with it. I'm gonna give the Igbinosun pick. I'm gonna give it a C plus. I do think the player. I do understand the logic behind the player. I think that there were other players, in my opinion, that were better that went later, and I didn't love the compensation that we gave up to go up and get him. So, yeah, I'm gonna give that one a C plus. The tackle in the 4th round, I'm going to give it an incomplete because I haven't done the research on him. So I will give that one an incomplete. Skylar Bell, it's another B, man. I'm going to give it a B plus because, dog, like we could have took Brennan Thompson right there. And I know he's undersized, but the guys are like a track star, bro. And he tracks the ball very, very well. I just thought that, you could get a guy like that and he, I think he could do something special with Josh. What's the other point? Skylar Bell's not really a good run blocker either. So you can miss me with, we wanted to get the bigger player because he's not a good run blocker. Like I didn't see it on any of the film that I watched. I watched 3 games. I didn't see his prowess as a run blocker. So, does he help? Sure. Like he'll help because he's probably at this point better suited to contribute than a Gabe Davis or McCole Hardman or whoever else, they bring in on like a minimum vet deal. I'll take the chance on the upside with Skylar Bell. So I'll give it a B. No B plus, B. Because of some of the limitations and the other guys that were on the board still remaining. I think Bryce Lance was still on the board too. So like if you just were looking for a 6'3" burner, like that was that guy. Like you could have just got him to play boundary, but fine. After that, Caleb Elam-Zor, where we got that's a pick that I'm gonna probably give that. I'm gonna give that a B plus as well. I don't love his coverage. I don't love his coverage ability at all. I don't love his coverage ability, but I do love the value at where we got him. I do love that. I do love the value. We got him in the 4th round. He's extremely fast. He's athletic. He's like a juiced up Dorian Williams. Not the best in coverage. But not the greatest process either, but will come downhill, is a force against the run. You can use him as a spy. And he's fast enough that he can run with slot receivers in this league. So I don't mind that pick either. I think it's one of the better picks because of the value. I think it's a B plus. I'm gonna give that a B plus. 5th round. Where are we at in the 5th? Give me 1 second. Yeah. Hold on, guys. Oh, I hate when I have it and then I lose it. All right, Skylar Bell, Kilgore. All right, yep. 5th round. Jalen Kilgore, safety out of South Carolina. That is an A pick. I know that, and I'm not gonna give it an A plus, but I'm gonna say it's an A for 2 reasons. Kilgore is a free safety more so than he is a box safety. Bishop's a box safety. I did think we needed somebody to pair with him going into the future. Kilgore can do that. He does have some eye discipline issues, like peeking in the backfield a little too long. Maybe allows a receiver to get behind him. That's something that you can coach out of him. I know that they can coach. I know it can be coached out because it was coached out of Cole Bishop. So still working on Jordan Hancock though, but we'll get there. I'm sure eventually. Great value as well. I thought he was a 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick at the latest. Like I really, really, really liked Kilgore. Like the athleticism, bro, the speed, the ability to turn and run. And he's physical. Like he's also not running away from anybody. Terrible technique that won't work in the NFL. I don't hate it. I just don't. So I think there's certain players. I think when you're a blessed athlete at that level, especially college, like I think some of these guys just allow their athleticism to do the work that they should be doing through technique. Like I think that they cheat and just say, I'm a better athlete than 95% of the guys on this field. I'll figure it out. So I thought that was a really good pick. Zane Durant, I'm gonna give that pick an A. Zane Durant, defensive tackle, Penn State, 5th round, pick 181. I'm gonna give that one a B plus. I just think, what do you think of our coach Joe Brady new stadium too? I think we got. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate it. Zane Durant, 3 technique out of Penn State. When I saw him when I first started watching him on film, I thought to myself, like, this is an Ed Oliver clone. Like he's like dying Ed Oliver. Not as strong, not as physical at the point of attack, but every bit as disruptive and relentless in pursuit. That was the other thing. Like this kid motor is very, very good. You don't just stonewall him. He will counter. Like if you beat his first move, he's looking to counter you. He's always looking to stay in the play. I'm sure they love that. That's what I got from watching. Also, like extremely quick. Like if we're going to be doing this thing with the stunts, he's one of them ones that you can get a little busy with on these stunts. 1 second. Peach vibe. It's the Celsius of the day. Hate the Zane pick. Are you kidding me? Hate the Zane pick. TJ was a pick worth 2 second rounds. All right. At first, I felt the same way as you did, Albert. I'm like, why don't we pick this guy when we need like a nose tackle? Like we actually need a bigger defensive tackle to free up these other guys and allow them to just get one-on-ones. And why wouldn't we do that? Well, I'll get into that later. We had 3 7th-round picks after this, but I love the Zane Durant pick. Like I think if they're going to be running defensive tackle stunts, you want somebody who has the athleticism to not only beat combo blocks or beat double teams to the spot, be disruptive against the run, be a disruptive pass rusher. This is the guy for that. I think if he beats you to the spot, it's a TFL. It's a TFL. If he doesn't, I mean, he's going to keep fighting, but he's going to get walled off by combo blocks. Like combo blocks and big mauling guards, they probably, if they win early, they won. Like they're gonna maul him because he's light. It's like 285, 290, something like that. I think he bulked up for the combine, but he's really probably playing around 280, 285, kind of like Ed, probably playing around that weight. But he's just not as strong or physical as Ed. But if you're going to be doing weird stuff like dropping guys into coverage that are on the defensive line, Zane Durant's a perfect candidate for that. He's fit. He can run a little bit. He's an athlete. You drop him in coverage, take a drag right away, something like that, or a quick hitch to a tight end. You can take that away with him. So I like that pick because I like the player. We give it a B plus. Toriano Pride Jr., cornerback out of Missouri. It was the 7th round pick. I love it. He's a special teams contributor. He ran the fastest 40 at the combine for all the DBs this year. Low undersized, 5'9", I believe, about 30-inch arms, something like that. Like he's on the shorter side of everything. And I don't care. He competes. He is a boundary corner. Will come up and be physical against the run. Of course, there are some length limitations, so there are going to be some missed tackles, but it's not out of him making a business decision. He's coming downhill to help out. Again, he also plays teams, which is important. That's how you make sure you get a jersey. And I mean, let's be honest, man. Zay Flowers is in this conference. Jalen Waddle is in this conference. Xavier Worthy's in this conference. Brennan Thompson is in this conference. There's some speedy guys. Kyle Williams, Brian Thomas. Like there are some speedy guys in the AFC, and you gotta be able to match speed with speed. So we added another guy. I know Max ran a 4.28. This kid, I think he ran like a 4.29. So we got a pair of corners we can match up with and run with anybody in the NFL. I love that. Because if Max goes down, we need to have a matchup. We need to have a matchup answer for these speed guys, and we do with Toriano Pride Jr. Next 7th round pick, Tommy Doman, punter out of Florida. He's a punter, and he doesn't stink as much as hopefully he's just not as inconsistent as Wisnowski was. So, for getting a punter because Wisnowski was terrible at times. At times, probably. I know this is only like most other people don't care too much about 7th round picks. Pick 241, Armaj Reed Adams, guard out of Texas A&M. I love that pick. Picking him up in the 7th round, I had a grade of a 4th, late 4th, early 5th for this kid. Mauler in the run game, powerful guy that he's seeking them. He's trying to move people. I like it. We need a depth at interior offensive line, especially at guard, losing David Edwards, and really not having a penciled in starter at left guard. So there's going to be a competition there, but you need depth. You need to have guys that are ready to step in and play at a high level. I think this guy can play at an NFL level at the guard position. I really, really love that pick. Where you got him in the 7th, I want to give it an A, but I mean it's a 7th round pick. It's a B plus. Overall, with this draft. Beane, you did a good job. You picked up a couple of picks next year, and you addressed some areas of concern. Dog, you know this because you've been in the spaces with us on X, and to anybody else who's listening that's been in the spaces. One of the things that I personally have complained about a lot was the quality of the depth on this team. Anytime you got to call up an AJ Klein, you got to sign, what's his name? You got to sign AJ Klein off the couch, like stuff like that. When you're doing stuff like that, man, that's a problem. That's a problem. And Beane understands that. I believe we lost to outside of obviously 5 turnovers from the offense still put up 30 points. But we also gave up some big plays and some big spots that I think if the talent on the field on our side was a little bit better, those plays probably they have a very good chance. I don't want to say probably, but they have a very good chance of going the opposite way. So kudos to you, Beane. Thursday, you were a genius. Friday, you were a terrorist. And now after Saturday, day 3 of the draft, here we are on Wednesday. You are a big baller, Beane. You're back. You are back. Okay. I'm good with the direction that this draft went. Even though some of the picks I disagree with, I get it. I understand. Fine. I'll get to comments real quick. I think for this Denver style defense to work to its maximum, we need our Benito guy. I don't know. I don't agree with that, man. I don't agree with that. I don't think we need a Benito guy to get home. I think by compressing the pocket, you're going to create some sack opportunities for guys. And I don't think that Chubb can't be a guy that gets home. Michael Hoyt will be back, hopefully sooner than later. I don't think that Michael Hoyt's a guy that can't get home. I mean, doesn't have to be with speed. It can be with speed to power. It could be that. You can power rushers do just fine. Khalil Mack's a power rusher. He's one of the best, most productive defensive ends of this generation. So, yeah, I don't think you need that for sure. Cam Jordan, another one. Power rusher. Very good. Very productive. But I'm not, I don't disagree that would help. Of course, you definitely want the more speed, the better for sure. Let's see what else we got. Nice, we got a Texas boy. Yeah, he's Texas A&M. I believe depth is drafting star players that bring down your starters. The depth, not drafting guys that are worse than your starters but younger. This is where we're going to disagree. So when I look at this draft, I think Beane looked at the last 3 or 4 years and said, if it's just starters versus starters, we can beat anybody. If injuries were turned off and we lined the football up against the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bengals, whoever, I believe that Beane believes that we can beat anybody. But when you start adding in the depth players, and the depth players stink, like if you're bringing Dane Jackson in to cover, you're bringing Kyer Elam in to cover Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, that's a recipe for hell, bro. You can't win like that. So, number one, we didn't have the draft capital to go get a bunch of star players. Number two, I just think when you get into the playoffs, you just have to have better players coming into games in key spots if necessary. And I think that's where we are. Like, I think that is an adequate move. And I think that's an adequate. I think that's an adequate strategy going forward. And it doesn't take away the ability of Brandon Beane to make a splash at some point if needed in the regular season. Like, let's say we're sitting at week 5 and the offense is dragging, right? Receivers are not working. I mean, there's nothing saying that Brandon Beane can't pick up the phone and say, "Hey, if you're still trying to move Brian Thomas Jr., like, we listening. If you're still trying to move, if you're willing to move whoever, like if Minnesota, if we're 4-1 after 5 games, but the offense has struggled, and let's say Minnesota's, 1-4, 0-5, because their quarterback play isn't what they expected it to be. Let's say that. What's wrong with picking up the phone and calling them and saying, "Hey, bro, you want to move off of, off your receiver? You want to move off of them and send them our way?" The Cardinals, listen, you guys don't have a quarterback. What's up, Jake? I mean, you can make a deal in the middle of the season, man. You can make a deal in the middle of the season and bring an impact player. We can bring in, Marvin Harrison Jr. for next year's second. Give the Cardinals more capital to go up and get their quarterback. Whatever. I don't care. I believe in shootout to the Sabres. Did the Sabres win? I guess the Sabres won. I hope they won because I need to see Portnoy suffer. Somebody in the chat, let me know, man, because I'm not looking it up right now. They play Friday. Oh, so what is she talking about? Ashley, what are you talking about? Talking about Sabres. They don't even play. Listen, I'm worried about, they're up in the series 3-2. Listen, they don't play till Friday. Don't talk to me about the Sabres right now. I got a Celtics game to watch tomorrow, and I'm like, they better win. It's game 6 against Philly. They'll take it home, man. But so Albert, I don't necessarily agree. I don't necessarily agree that we need to go get, top flight star players right now. Like, number one, the salary cap probably won't allow it. And I kind of feel like DJ Moore is going to have a big year. Like, I think after this season, DJ Moore is going to be talked about in a different light. Kind of like how Stephon Diggs, like, we got Diggs. Diggs was a good receiver, not a great receiver. Like, he wasn't – nobody was looking at Diggs and saying, Stephon Diggs, top 5 guy. You got to put him in conversations with Tyreek Hill. Nobody was saying that. When we got to him, he came to Buffalo and turned up. It's because of Josh, man. It's because of Josh. I mean, he was good, too. Don't get me wrong. Diggs is a dog. And my pro comp for Antonio Williams, Stephon Diggs. So that's how high on him I was. Like, I think Antonio Williams gonna be a monster. But yeah, like I just think favorite pick from the draft. I'll give you that in a second. I just think that we just needed better players to come off the bench, bro. Like we're losing these games by 1 or 2 plays. Like the last 3 years, every playoff game has been by 3 points. Like the loss has been like 3 or 4 points. Like it's one score, literally. And bro, I just feel like if the defense could come up with a stop in some key spots, right? I think you're in much better shape. I don't even think we give up the type of points that we've been giving up if the reserves are better. Like the Chiefs don't score anywhere near 27. I don't think. I don't think they score anywhere near 27 points if certain guys aren't on the field. Kyrie Elam is one of them. Like if he's not on the field, like I think we're good. You know, like we were playing DeMar Hamlin in big spots, bro. You know, like that. I just think that when you're going up against the elite teams and you're playing guys like Dane Jackson and DeMar, like when those guys are playing, Austin Johnson, like when those guys are playing and you lose by 3 points, you got to think to yourself, like, if we were just better in some of these other areas. Well, okay, that's fair. That's fair. We didn't lose last year by a couple of plays. We took ourselves out by 5 turnovers. Historically, don't win games with 5 turnovers. But listen, this is the thing, though. We could have. Like, we could have won a game. It wouldn't have been 5 turnovers. It would have been 4 turnovers to 1. We could have won that game, bro. Like on 3rd and 8, if Dane Jackson is not on the field and it's Toriano Pride Jr. running with Marvin Mims, that's probably a breakup. Like it wasn't a great thrown ball. It's probably a pass breakup. And I actually think Dane did break that up and they just called it a catch and he didn't survive the ground. But we didn't challenge it, so whatever. But my point is, like, it definitely shouldn't have went to OT, right? 3rd and 8, bro. Like you can't give up the first down there. You got to make that play. And we didn't. Actually, that was Taron Johnson in the slot, like just not being where he was supposed to be. But like just those plays, like those things that happen, better players in certain spots on the defense, I think change the outcome of the game. If there's no Darnell Savage, like if that's not Darnell Savage out there and that's CJ Gardner Johnson or Jalen Kilgore, and I don't even know, like these kids that we just picked up, they may all suck. Like we don't know. They haven't played in an NFL snap yet. But if they're good, if they are who they were, if their film translates to the NFL, they're better than what we had on the field in Darnell Savage and Dane Jackson last year. And I think that changes the outcome of the game because you don't give up 2 touchdowns as soon as those guys come in, right? Maybe those guys make a play. Maybe they don't. Either way, that's why he was out there, Darius Slay. Well, I mean, he tried to address it with the Darius Slay move. He tried to address it. But Slay was, I can't call him what I want to call him because, my mother watches this sometimes. She watches this pod, so I don't want to hear her, I don't want her to tell me that I shouldn't say things like that. But yeah, like Darius Slay should have been in Buffalo last year. And he wasn't. So, whatever. But we move. Beane saw the problem. He overcorrected. And I mean, we move on. My favorite pick, I want to get back to that. Probably answer this. My favorite pick of the draft. It was probably Zane Durant, bro. Like I think it's Zane Durant. I really do. And the reason why is Zane Durant, because I know how good this defense is when Ed's on the field, but when Ed gets hurt, you don't have another guy on the roster with that skill set. And that's the other thing that I think Brandon Beane did. If you look at every guy we drafted, TJ Parker, a little big, he's big, he's like 6. What is TJ Parker? It's got to be like 6'5", somewhere around there. It's a big kid. Hold on. Let me pull him up. TJ Parker. Let's pull up his Raz. Okay, y'all give me everything but that. Thanks. Thank you. Goofy. All right. 2 seconds, guys. 2 shakes. It's taking a little time. It's a slow processor. Really, bro? All right, forget it. There we go. Okay. TJ Parker, 6'3.5", 263. So, you know, that's kind of what you know you want your outside backer to be. A little bigger than Vaughn. He's actually like really close to Bradley Chubb. Like he really is close to Bradley Chubb. So I just think you get Bradley Chubb, and if Chubb goes down, you don't have to change anything. You know, like you don't have to change anything. You just stick TJ Parker where Chubb was, and you move forward. So I think that was kind of that type of pick. The tackle, I don't know. But the corner from Igbinosun, kind of similar style player to, you know, physically and everything, kind of similar to Bedford. The Toriano Pride kid, Maxwell Hairston. Like I think Beane likes the makeup of the roster, but let's just double down and kind of fill the spots. Caleb Elamazor, Dorian Williams. They're pretty much the same player. You know, Kilgore, probably similar to, like really similar to CJ Gardner-Johnson. He can play the slot. You can throw him you can throw him deep. You can play him against the run. He's got snaps in the box. Like all of those things that CJ Gardner-Johnson does, this kid Kilgore is similar to that. Like he doesn't really have a lot of a specific position. You just kind of play him where you need him to play. So I just think they looked at that and said, Skylar Bell, Khalil Shakir, very similar players. And if anything were to happen to Shakir, where Shakir's got to sit down for a little bit, we have somebody that can come in and do exactly what Shakir does. You can just slide Bell right over in there, and he's right there. Good to go. Good to go. What's up? Where is he? Zane Durant, Ed Oliver, Ahmad Reed Adams. You know, He's probably the replacement for Torrance next year. Similar player, big people mover on the right side. Maybe slides to the left. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he's a right guard. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's a right guard. But yeah, bro, it was crazy too because like ESPN, I think we got like a B plus on one of the drafts, and like some of the other ones it's pretty bad. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. All right, so I'll give you the what people thought of the draft from not us, obviously, but this is like some of these pundits. All right, let's see. Sports Illustrated, D plus. Oh boy. Oh God. This is why it's a D plus. This is why. I'll read this off to you guys. The duo of Gilberto Manzano and Matt Verderam gave the Bills a D plus, which is a harsh grade, but it's understandable where they're coming from. They believe Brandon Beane went into this draft with the false belief that the roster was set and didn't attack the draft with any urgency. So for those who are on X or have been on X for a while, Matt Verderam is a Chiefs fan. He is a Chiefs fan, a self-proclaimed Chiefs fan. Every time the Bills lose a game against a formidable opponent, whether it's the Texans, the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Ravens, he goes live on X, does a space, trashing the Bills, talking about all of the problems that the Bills have, right? This D plus now, like when I first saw it, I was like, why would we get a D plus? And then I read this, now I see why. That guy's a hater. He's a hater. What else we got? ESPN, Mel Kiper gave us a B minus. His favorite pick was Skylar Bell. So yeah. That was his favorite pick. Chad Reuter gave the Bills an A. I don't know. He was happy about Drew Bowery, who he thinks can replace David Edwards. Gave him props for landing Caleb Elam's or. Elam's or is supposed to be like a run stuffing linebacker. So hopefully they can coach up his coverage because the man does not understand zone drops. Not at all. Not really good at that. But let's see. USA Today gave the Bills a B plus. Nate Davis. That's a B plus. I like Nate Davis. That's it, man. It's all for the grades. How do you guys feel about the draft? Let's see, what did you say here? A run team first, so when our star receiver has to be out, I don't care who is after him. We would just run more. That's why I'm so star focused. Give me the best guys, and I'll do what's best with them. That's not going to work for Josh Allen. Josh Allen wants to sling the pill, bro. He kind of told you that last year. So Josh Allen wants to throw the pill. He wants to throw the ball. I looked at a chart on how often every starting quarterback from last year or this year, penciled in starters for right now, how often they throw to their first read. Josh was like bottom 5 in the NFL. So he's not just going to take what the defense gives him, bro. So having a star player doesn't matter. Josh is looking for he's looking to take your soul with every throw. So wow, is that Paul? Help me out, bro. Dog, was that like pause worthy? I don't think so. Was that pause worthy? Josh is looking to take your soul with every throw. I just that feels dirty. That feels dirty. Let's change that. Listen, Josh is looking to score on every drop back. I feel like if the defense is going to sit back and play and give him an opportunity to put 6 on the board, he's going to do it. Now, not pause. I appreciate it, Jake. Thank you, man. It feels pause worthy though. It feels like it was a little crazy. It felt a little crazy when I said it. Like listening to it feels a little crazy. But all right, we're good, man. We'll move. It just feels as if like Josh is looking for the big play. So let's go get him guys that can. Let's go get guys that kind of appease that. You know, guys that can find some space, get the football, and make plays after the catch. But I think a big thing with the offense is good. It's a top 5 offense right now. If they don't do anything else, it's still a top 5 offense. Mainly because they added DJ Moore. So now you have a real legitimate threat on the boundary to complement Shakir, the tight ends, and the running backs. And I mean, I'm a big Keon guy. I'm a big Keon fan. So I know a lot of the Bills fans don't think Keon's worth anything. I disagree. Keon's been working with Stevie Johnson, and if he can get something out of Keon, if he can get those flashes to turn into consistency, we may have something, man. We may have something. It also would help if, it would help us throw the ball over the middle of the field. I would like to do that a little more this year. So, if we anything to open up the middle of the field, I'm lock me in on that. But yeah, so where are we at now? Draft is over. There's still a few free agents out there. I already gave you my grades. I already gave you how I feel. A lot of you have said, how you feel as well since the draft. I do think that Beane needs to make another move. We still have not addressed the linebacker next to Terrell Bernard. I don't care how comfortable you guys are with Dorian Williams or Caleb Elam-Zor. I'm not comfortable with him. Not as a starter. It's cool to bring those guys in and let them run around and kind of wreak havoc against the run. I'm good with that, but I need guys that can cover, man. I need guys that can cover, because I think when you put players out there that can't cover, they are inadequate in coverage. Teams are just gonna find that guy. They're gonna pick on him, bro. So let's just avoid that and go get a guy. Thoughts on the Bengals wide receiver woman beater? Jermaine Burton beat somebody? I didn't hear that. I know he didn't. He was not paying his bills. I honestly think that he's a little. I don't know if the elevator is touching every floor on the way up. I'm gonna be honest. Listen, Jermaine Burton's a heck of a talent. Legitimate 4.4. He ran a 4.4. I think he ran a 4.41 or something like a 4.43. His game speed's faster than that. He was at Alabama. I think he was at Georgia before that, but he was at Alabama. His game speed is much fast. Well, not much. his game speed's faster than that. Like I think in game he's probably a 4.3 guy. I watched that man. I watched him take a slant and split safeties. Like he caught a slant off the line of scrimmage, probably like a 5-yard reception, and just shot right in between the safeties and beat them to the spot and scored. Like he's extremely fast. He's a crash out and not a good crash out. So if he is serious about continuing his NFL career and he wants an opportunity to play with an elite quarterback again, because he did have Joe Burrow. If he wants the opportunity to play with another elite quarterback and, find a place where he can get an opportunity, this is the team that can offer that. So he'll get a chance to impress and earn a spot at training camp. If he does, I'll be happy, man. Like I like Jermaine Burton. I think I like him as a football player. Like I think his skill set's amazing. Fast, tough at the catch point, can play the boundary, can play inside. You can do some gadget stuff with him, hand him the ball off, and like he's got a special skill set. Just need to get his head on straight. If he can do that, man, I'm all for it. But with all that being said, man, overall the draft was fine. This offseason's been pretty good. I'm ready for the season, but I do think Beane needs to make another move. I would prefer for them to go out and get a linebacker. Dream scenario or wish list, Bobby Okereke. He used to be a Colt. I think he was with the Colts. Then he went to the Giants. He gave us hell when he was in the Giants. I think that was like a Monday night game or a Thursday night game we played the Giants. He was everywhere, bro. He was everywhere. That's the dream, Bobby Okereke. If we can't get him, I'm good with bringing back Shaq Thompson. If you want a bigger, if you want to, so let me rank it like this. Bobby Okereke is my wish list. Top. Him. The next guy would be bring back Shaq Thompson. I like Shaq Thompson. I thought Shaq Thompson was good for us last year. I'm fine with bringing him back. Right underneath there is Jermaine Pratt. Dog. I know Jermaine Pratt has lost his step. I understand that. He's not as quick. He's not covering as much ground as fast as he used to. But the instincts are still there. And he finds the football. And I think that is an invaluable trait on a defensive player. He's one of those guys that just always finds the football. Poyer was like that too. Poyer's the same way. Just figures out a way to find the football. Go get that guy. Like if Pratt's available and he'll play in Buffalo and you don't want to pay Shaq, $4 million or $5 million, whatever his price tag is, and you're not trying to pay whatever Okereke wants, do that. Bring in Jermaine Pratt. I'd be fine with that. You got some young backers that could use some help with their instincts and what they should be looking at and how they should be preparing to play, to defend against these other teams we playing against. So Jermaine Pratt would be fine. I'm really good with Jermaine Pratt coming in because of what he could impart to Elam Zor and Dorian Williams. And Terrell Bernard as well. He's also a bigger guy who's a little bit better against the run. Like I think we could use a bigger guy. So uh, I'm cool with him as well. Like coming in here and being, um, potentially starting or helping these young guys get ready to start and be 3-down linebackers. Um, I think we're good at corner. I think we're good at safety. I'm fine with the O-line. Maybe another move at receiver. I actually am fine with the receiver room. I think we have a good amount of speed. Not elite, but it's good enough. And obviously we're not doing that in the quarterback, running back. I would have been cool with a kicker, but I know there's like a dad cap attached to Tyler Bass, but Tyler Bass, you better be like 90% this year and don't miss anything in the playoffs because we will be going back to the playoffs if you want to stay here in Buffalo. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And as far as like nose tackle, I know people are a little upset that Beane didn't go out and get a nose tackle. Listen, guys, I think that was by design. I don't think they care about big run stuff in nose tackle. I think they're going to defend the run the way that the Broncos defend it. And that's just by sending a bunch of guys into the gaps. Like A gap, somebody's there. B gap, somebody's there. C gap, somebody's there. We're committing 5 to 7 guys to the run probably every time somebody hands the football off. So, yeah, I just don't think they care enough about the size to do that. So, looks like Deion Walker, Fadarian Mathis, guys like that will be where they go at nose tackle. Couple of quick announcements as well. We brought in a former Philadelphian, a former Eagle fullback. Let me see if let me pull this guy's information up. Yeah, Ben Van Summeren. I don't know who this guy is, but he's a fullback. They brought him in. Obviously, you guys know Reggie Gilliam signed with the Patriots. He's now an op. So we got to replace it. They brought in a fullback UDFA as well. Pull him up. Bills UDFA signings. Okay. Jackson Acker from Wisconsin. There's a clip. If I know some of y'all might or might not be on X. There's a clip of this kid absolutely deleting a linebacker at the line in the whole at the goal line. I mean, he hit the factory reset button on this kid, man. It was pretty nasty. So if y'all get a chance, like pull up his highlights. I hate using highlights, but like that, bro. I mean, Jesus, man, he erased that kid, man. So cool with that. Oh, we signed also. Don't want to miss out on this or not bring this up. We signed Bruno Fina from Duke, offensive lineman. That is the son of John Fina, Buffalo Bills great. So shout out to Bruno, man, following his pop's footsteps with the Buffalo Bills. Similar to Frank Gore Jr. Okay. And whenever Josh Allen has a son, I'm sure if he's good at football, he'll get an opportunity here. Another wide receiver we brought in, Jamori Macklin from Kentucky. I like this kid a lot. I liked him last year too, which is when he should have came out. Actually, him and Barry and Brown, they both should have left school last year. Yes, they would have been day 3, probably. Macklin probably would have went in like the 6th, or it probably would have went like the 6th, 5th, 6th, 7th, somewhere around there. But I think he would have got drafted last year. Barry and Brown would have probably went in the 4th maybe the third, depending on how fast he ran his combine. But those guys shouldn't have went back to school. They should have both left. But yeah, those are the big ones. All right, potential camp battles. We will discuss these a little more next week. But left guard, definitely a camp battle. Wide receiver 2 on the boundary, that is a camp battle. I'm expecting to see. I'm expecting to see that linebacker opposite of the opposite linebacker of Terrell Bernard. That's going to be a camp battle. I think that there's going to be a camp battle for the defensive end spot. Now, when I say defensive end, I'm not talking about Rousseau and those guys. Like, they're all offensive linebackers now. I do think Javon Solomon will really get an opportunity to play this year consistently because of his pass rush ability, long arms, etc. I can see him line up as an outside linebacker rushing the pass off the edge. Looking forward to that. Ed, Dion, they're starting. Like, we know that. But the guy opposite of Dion, opposite of Ed, camp battle there for sure. For sure. I do believe that there's going to be a camp battle at safety opposite of Bishop. I don't think that it's guaranteed to go to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think it's going to be difficult to get him out of that spot, but Kilgore's going to have a chance to earn his spot there. Hancock has got to figure out some place to play. I do think that D. Alford was signed. I don't think his spot is secure either. He may, Davis Igbinosa might punch him out of there. Toriano Pride might punch him out of there. I don't know how good Hancock comes back. He may get him out of there. I don't know. So, a couple of camp battles. Oh, camp battle at punter for sure. We drafted a punter and signed one, and so we re-signed Wisnowski and drafted a kid in the 7th round. So that will be a battle as well. What I'm about to do is battle with this pillow and go to sleep because it's getting late, and I appreciate everybody for sticking around. It's been about almost 2 hours. I was a little late today, but you'll be all right, man. But yeah, overall good draft. We'll talk more next week about camp battles. We'll also talk about the rest of the league and where the Bills stack up as far as like rosters are concerned. We may have some guests. I'm gonna reach out to some people probably tomorrow and see what we can do as far as bringing some people on, and maybe we'll get a quick look at some of the opponents and see, whether we should be afraid of any of these guys. Short answer is no. We're not afraid of anybody. We're punching teams in the mouth. Point blank. Period. You got to play us this year. So appreciate everybody for pulling up, and thank you guys again, always, for the loyal guys that pull up all the time. Albert, appreciate you, man. Dog, you know what it is, man. My guy, you know what I'm saying? My brother, you always be ready for war, man. Jake, always, brother. Carlos, I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Ashley. How you doing, Ashley? You being here. You was in here heavy tonight. You usually don't be in here like that, but you was heavy tonight, Ashley. I appreciate you. Albert, got you. Pitzer. What's good, bro? Carlos. I think I shot you out already, Carlos. But yeah, man. Everybody that pulled up, man. Thank y'all. I'll take myself to bed. Y'all have a good night. Go Bills. We'll do this again next week. Tell Beane. Love you too, Ash. Love y'all, man. Have a good one. Thanks. Yo, you too, man. Everybody root for the Celtics tomorrow. Okay? If you love me, you'll root for the Celtics. because we need that Knicks Celtics second round. The world needs that. Everybody, good night, man. Y'all have a good one, man. Go Bills.